Bonjour and hello, everyone. This is Shaheer Sheikh, and I am back in another LARVOL podcast. This one's called LARVOL Oncology Podcast, and I have got Judith Perez, who's actually a very regular guest on this podcast itself, and of course the guy with the purple hat. I'll let you all guess the name, which I'm sure you could actually do very accurately. Bruno, so Bruno's going to different places. Of course, he's traveling all the time. That's by nature. And there's different people. There's paparazzi behind him, and things like that happening. I'm sorry, I got right into it directly. Judith and Bruno, thank you very much for joining us today. How are you both?
Thank you for having us
Very
here.
well.
Really good. And I can confirm what you have said. In conferences, he got stopped. So it's very nice.
It's always great to join these episodes with you both. So today it's basically a post EHA 2026 episode. And we're going to touch a little bit on what we covered at EHA, as well as the reports, the very useful reports that we're having, and we're getting decent feedback from people who are actually reviewing that. Um, Judith, would you be the one who would be starting on EHA?
Sure, of course. Would love to. So as
And
Shaheer was
as
sharing,
you get ready to share your screen, I just have one quick comment. So if on for the people listening, if you want a sample of our recap post EHA, let us know in the comments or send us a message. If you want test credentials for LARVOL Clean, the platform that we're demoing, and some of you are already familiar with, some of you not, let us know, and we can also arrange for that. LARVOL Clean, think about it as a Google map of cancer data. And there's a lot of data in it. Essentially, anything publicly know about cancer clinical trials, results in particular, should be there. One of the feature that is very important that Judith is going to demo is how we use the commentaries from 6,000 oncologists in order to provide color, overlay of coloring, essentially, sentiment, to understand how all of the data presented at EHA was received. And Judith was there in person, by the way, so
yeah.
she can also give that color. So I go on mute, and the baton to you, Judith.
Thank you, Bruno. So definitely, we're sharing in here the IHA social media listening component of our platform called Clean. If anyone's interested, don't hesitate to ping us, and we'll share more details on that. And today we're going to be walking about this post-IHA, right, analysis. Certainly, I was there at IHA. You could see lots of people there. I wasn't expecting that to be like quite big, so it was very interesting. Lots of buzz, lots of movement around it. I saw we had over 400 posts in there, and lots of positive comments while talking to the people, academics as well as pharma companies. So that was very nice. It's always nice to see, to get onto the ground, right, and to talk to people who is working in the subject field. So I'm gonna start by looking at these top trials by post in there. I'm gonna even increase the size. So in here, what we're looking at, it would be the top trials based on the number of posts and the number of views of the posts that have been associated to those trials. How we do that, it's we keep track of over 6,000 digital opinion leaders on X, as Bruno was commenting. And on top of that, we're identifying the post that they are commenting associated to a specific trial and a specific disclosure that it's going to be presented at this conference, in this case, EHA. And we identify the sentiment behind that post, right? So if we are talking about positive sentiment around it, even strongly positive, so likely practice changing or practice impacting. If even if it's negative, which is, I always like, why is it being able to call out the negativity, right? If we are talking about a matter of reimbursement issues, toxicity, design, or what's the issue there behind that negative comment or sentiment around that specific disclosure. So at the very top, we can see this monumental trial, Majestic 3 and 4 in there, with very high views, lots of positive comments, even strongly positive comments from J&J, both trials. Then if you can look down again, you see quite the long tail in there, as we had quite some buzz in there at EHA.
So what was the most talked about trial at EHA, Judith? And do we have
Most
that in
talked
LARVOL?
about, yes, most talked about. We can see it right now. We are ranking in here by number of views, but the long tail would be the number of posts, right, on the x-axis. So we can see the one that it's getting the most views, it's getting also the most number of comments. And it's this Monumental 3 trial. We see these strongly positive comments. So on this study, talquetamab in combination with data. Okay.
Nice.
So we can see here even
I-
subtone voices. Sorry. Yep.
No, it's very nice that you're able to display that on the client screen itself as well. Can we touch a little bit on the negatives on this particular one? Because it's on the top and looking at what people are thinking about it on the negative side.
That particular one was not having negative comments, but I'm gonna check one of those that it's also in the upper side, like this polarized. Let's take a closer look to that one. And it seems that people are reacting to both toxicity, lack of efficacy, and even design issues. So there seems to be quite some divergence there, but definitely some agreement in the negative sentiment, right? Agreed.
If a trial doesn't work and is toxic, this is not a good start. This is not going to go well, I'm afraid. It's actually a failed trial. No, what is the overall impact score for that trial?
Yeah, it's a 22. So if we go even to CLIN to take a closer look to all the data we have around that trial, we see there were 23 posts in there. The impact score, it's negative at this stage.
Right. So,
and
yes, you have
the reason why, yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
So it didn't improve the evidence-free survival in the overall for the particular population. So it missed its primary endpoint essentially. So no support exists for replacing the current standard of care. So being included in the guidelines or FDA labels.
So this is a failed trial, to be specific, right? That trial failed.
Yes.
And yes, there is some follow-up data, I guess, presented at EHA, but this is a failed trial. This is a negative trial. Yeah. Okay.
So when a trial, I'm deliberately asking the question, and by the way, there's plenty of people viewing us live, so please feel free to jump in, even if you have some very basic questions. We really appreciate having questions, of course. Bruno, when you say failed trial, and at the same time you said it has follow-up data, does that mean it still might, the table might turn? Is there a possibility?
I don't think so. I think it's been tagged by us as negative trial. I think it's got the final view, but there is some interesting follow-up data, I assume, percolating and being discussed. And so, but it is it did not meet primary endpoint, I assume, period. Now, sometimes there are subgroups that show some interesting signals. Maybe that's the case here. But the impact rating that our algorithm, our AI gave, is that it's a negative trial.
Very well. Thank you very much for your input on this. And Judith, you might have a few other things as we conclude about EHA, but of course we have the very valuable end of conference reports and a lot of other things that we've been talking about. By the way, I was interacting with a couple of people the other day, and they were very happy with the end of conference reports that we have. So if it's okay, we can also touch on that, and I should be able to share that on the screen as well. But before that, I'll let Judith add anything that she might have on her side.
I think going into the reports would be very nice. As in here, yes, there. Thank you for putting that up. So in there, we can see kind of a summary of, and if you go, yes, if we can see kind of a summary of what we can also be accessible from CLIN, but for the top trials, right? So we can see the most discussed trials, which are the key results associated to those trials. You have the top influencers that would be posting what are their sentiments as well, and on which trials they are commenting, which are the top trending oncologists, the companies as well. So we are getting the disclosures. And even for each individual trial, you would be having a summary of that sentiment with the key posts, as well as the key results with the snapshot of the presented data, right? So in here, we are seeing a similar view on what we were seeing on CLIN. But if we keep going into the report, I diving deep, we see here the results. So you get more nuances to the data that was presented. And it's a good way to summarize what's trending, what you need to know, and what you care about, right? Most
So
likely
it's
about
basically that the fact that LARVOL CLIN is going to save you a lot of time, but these reports are going to be even better. I hope I'm not. Yeah, it's because it's preciser. It has it's basically allowing you to scan the results, the data that you might be interested in, much quicker.
Definitely, you put it the right way. It's concise, it's direct, it's simplified, straight to your inbox. So you don't even need to go anywhere. Just one click away, you get the full report. Even in here, this heat map coloring the sentiment for the number of trials and who is commenting. So who are the DOLs expressing their voices. So you can see also the tendencies around a trial or how people express themselves.
I understand there might be a subscription needed for these reports, and I'm deliberately saying that. But are we still open to maybe showing this to a few people that might want to explore the value in these, Bruno and Judith?
Oh, we can send samples. So if people are interested in getting a sample of this after the fact, we can send them a sample of our EHA analysis.
Definitely. And we are building this for the top conferences. So we can always, we are open always to creating this type of value.
Okay. That's very good to hear. And of course, it's a great feeling when you have validation from the people who have been using these. So it's something of great value and something that has been well thought through to save your time as well as cover enough data that you might be interested in. So there's top trending companies. There's a lot of other things as well. It's the
trial dedicated pages. Yes, with the top comments, who are commenting, which would be the sentiment associated to that comment, and then we can see also the results on the next page. Yes, nice. The key elements that were presented, and that would be available for each top 10 trial.
Okay.
At the conference.
There's Majestic. There was a bit of buzz about that as well. And there's a few other trials.
And the good thing also about CLIN as well is that you can see also still some buzz around it on the next week or the coming weeks. So you can also keep track of that around the platform.
Okay. Any other thing about this that we might have missed, Bruno? Anything that you'd like to add about the conference recap documents that we've been doing?
People who are familiar with these conferences, people who are maybe in competitive intelligence or in medical affairs or in commercial, they know one thing, which is that the most important thing is how quickly these analysis, these results, these dashboards are done. Essentially, it has to be hours, not days. If it's sent 1 week later, the value is much, much, much less, nearly no value, because our customers need the data essentially the same day. So at the end of every day of the conference and at the end of the last day of the conference, they need to receive that material, that analysis, these dashboards. If not, the value drop off a cliff.
So you're saying that the turnaround time that we have for these is hours, not days? Is that what you said?
Days, that's my formula. And our wonderful team, helped by our technology, are working so hard doing the top cancer conferences. But yes, time is a currency with these type of information. The world is moving fast, and the VPs need their report very quickly. The executive team wants really the data right away.
And as we used to say that internally, team fast on a mission.
That, okay. Hold on a second. Maybe that's going to be the
Switch
closing
caps.
area, right? That wasn't planned, but I'm a man wearing many hats, including my famous foam hat. The other day, I was walking around saying, "Oh, what does foam mean?" So fast on a mission. Fast on a mission. That's what we want to do for our customers, to be fast and on a mission to serve our customers with cancer data.
Thank you very much, Bruno. Thank you very much, Judith, for the time. And I'm sure the audience also found this helpful. If there's any comments, please reach us out on any of the LARVOL pages. Bruno is also very social and available on all of his social media pages. So please make sure. Why are you laughing, Judith? It's factual.
Am I not social?
No, you are too. You are too. But I don't know what to say. But anyways, I'll let you two end the episode. Thank you very much, everybody who tuned in.
Thank
Au
you.
revoir.
Have a good weekend.
Au revoir.